Hi, my name is Beth, and you are listening to the Canna Fitness and Nutrition podcast, where we are sitting at the intersection of fitness, nutrition, and cannabis. Yes, and first of all, I just want to say thank you for listening. A lot of you reached out and told me you've listened, and that's just really exciting for me because I've been wanting to do this for a while because I want to be able to share, educate, and talk a little bit longer than 90 seconds. These are hopefully going to remain relatively short so that you can listen to it quickly on a drive. But Instagram only gives you 90 seconds, and it's just not long enough to get my point across because I'm a talker. But again, thank you for listening. Please, if there's things that you want to hear about, you want me to talk about or educate about, please, email me, reach out on social media, let me know, and I'd be happy to address any topics that you're interested in, whether it's about fitness, whether it's about nutrition, behaviors, or cannabis, because that's what we're here to talk about. And today, I thought we'd talk about how to actually reach your goals, because it's New Year, and a lot of times we set new goals. I love a new year to set fresh goals, and that's traditionally what people tend to do, is set some goals for the year. And you may have done that. And so I want to just go over a few things that'll make those actually stick, because I made a lot of mistakes over the last, 20 years, I'd say. And I can tell you what doesn't work, and I can tell you what does work. So what I used to do is, and I'm talking like probably my mid 20s, maybe from late teens all the way through like late 30s. Beginning of the year, I would make a list, and it was things that I wanted to do or have or be. So it was, I want to lose weight. I want to stop overeating. I want to no sugar. I want to, cut out carbs. And it was these extreme things that I, somewhere in my brain, thought that I could actually do. And some of it was, stopping certain behaviors like overeating or snacking at night. That was always a big one for me. I want to stop snacking at night. But I wasn't looking at what was causing me to snack at night. And that was one of my big mistakes, is I wasn't going back and looking at the reason I was snacking at night was because I was skipping lunch, for example, right? Or the reason I was snacking at night was because of my anxiety, for example, right? And now that I know that, I've gone through and I've been treating the symptoms or the cause and not the symptom. So the snacking at night is a symptom. The cause is either the anxiety or skipping lunch, and it could be a lot of things. That's just an example. So one thing that you have to do when you're looking at your goals, especially when it comes to like nutrition behaviors or fitness behaviors. So say you want to work out more, okay? That is a great goal, obviously. That's great. We all need to move more. But if that's been your goal for 5 years, what is causing you to not do that? What's preventing you from being able to achieve that every year so far? That's the real question. So you have to look at that first and then look at how are we going to implement it. Is it because you've been trying to bite off more than you can chew? Have you been telling yourself you're going to go to a class at the gym 5 days a week when that's just not realistic for your schedule? Are you intimidated by going to the gym and that's keeping you from it? Do you just hate exercise and that's keeping you from it? So we have to look at the underlying reason. When it comes to something that you want to change like that, what if it's biting your nails, for example? So if you want to stop biting your nails, we have to look at why are you biting your nails, right? Because you can try all of the things to try to trick yourself into not biting them, but if you still have a lot of anxiety, then you're gonna look for something to deal with that energy and that anxiety, and you need to really address the anxiety first. And then once that's gone, you won't have a reason to bite your nails, for example, right? So that's one thing that I was making a huge mistake on. Another mistake I was making was I was writing a list of things that I was already doing that I wanted to continue to do. So, which is not a bad thing. Of course, that's good. If you have good habits, definitely keep doing them. But that's not really a goal, right? A goal, technically, is something that you're going to do differently, right? So if you want to run more, say you've been running, a goal could be, I want to run a 5K, right? Or a 10K, or set your sights on something that you haven't done or want to do differently. Okay, so that's what a real goal is. But of course, if there's things you want to continue doing, especially healthy habits, keep doing them for sure. And the other mistake I was making was because some things were more of a wish list. And this goes way back. So in my younger days, I probably on my New Year's resolution was, get a boy to like me was probably one of them. That's more of a wish. So I recommend that your goals are things that you can actually control. You have control over. Getting a boy to like me when I was 25, that's nothing I can do to control that. So that's more of a wish than a goal. But a goal is something that you can accomplish yourself by doing things differently, okay? And then we get into some of the nuts and bolts of how to achieve that. Okay, so these are my real truths about how to make your goals happen. Number 1, be specific. Okay, so what is it that you want specifically? Do you want to stop snacking at night? Do you want to stop overeating? Do you want to eat more vegetables? Losing weight is a goal, I will say that, but we need to be a little more specific, because what is causing you to not lose weight? What's keeping you from losing weight? Is it lack of movement? Is it because you don't eat enough vegetables? Is it you don't eat enough protein? Let's break that down into more specific goals. And this is how I help people in my programs. So in CannaFit, for example, if someone wants to lose weight, well, we have to start by looking at what needs to happen in order for you to lose weight. So it does take a little bit of time. You have to kind of drill down into each behavior. And, I have almost a checklist of things. Is it movement? Is it protein? Is it time? Is it stress? What is it? So be specific is the number 1 goal, or number 1 task to address your goals. Be specific. So get really specific. And it's also, when it comes to weight loss, I will say that, and I've stressed this before, if you listen to the scale episode, when it comes to weight loss, try to find tools other than the scale, because I've addressed this already in my other episode, but finding clothes that you want to fit into is an excellent tool, because it gets the number out of our mind and it gives us something physical to see and feel, so that you can feel exactly where you're at with the clothes. Okay, now, number 2, break it down into smaller chunks and work with the end in mind. So, say you want to eat better, right? Well, what does that mean, first of all? What does better mean? So maybe better means more fruits and vegetables. Okay, that's a good goal, more fruits and vegetables. So let's break that down a little bit further. Where in your day, where in each meal, let's say, can you add a vegetable? All right, there's a task for you. That's a goal. Can you add a vegetable to each meal during the day? Or maybe make it a fruit or a vegetable to each meal during the day. But how can you add that? And if you add vegetables and fruits to each meal, then you're definitely going to be eating better. You're going to have less room for any junk, right? So you can fill up on fruit and not have to eat Cheez-Its because you won't be hungry. You'll be full from the fruit, for example. So start by just breaking it down into small little things that you can do each day. And even if it's just piece by piece. When it comes to exercise, I like to start, and I have everybody start in my programs with the smallest amount. So it's 10 minutes, finding 10 minutes a day to move, 10 minutes. And that movement can be anything. It could be a walk. It could be yoga. It could be stretch. It could be a kickboxing class, whatever you like. But 10 minutes, make it achievable. Because as we achieve those small little goals, it's going to help our mindset and we're going to feel accomplished by doing the littlest things like adding a vegetable to every meal. It's going to, if you do that, you're going to feel better and you're going to feel accomplished. Like, okay, I can do that. So what else can I do? Now maybe I add protein, right? So break it down, small chunks. Now, writing down your why is number 3. And this is super important because we have to have a reason. We have to have a reason for this. So why do you want to eat healthier, right? What does that look like for you? And what are you going to feel when you do that? Are you going to feel better? Are you going to lose weight because of it? Are your clothes going to fit better? What is the actual, your end goal, your end reason for that? Do you have a wedding coming up this summer? This would be an excellent time to start adding vegetables to your day so that you can, feel your best when you go to this wedding, or maybe it's a reunion or a family vacation or something. You have to have a why. One of the whys I love is when people tell me that they're doing it to be good examples for their kids. Just planting that seed in there in case you have kids, because it's so important to model that good behavior. And if your kids see you eating vegetables, then they're gonna wanna eat vegetables. If your kids see you eating Cheez-Its, they're gonna wanna eat Cheez-Its, right? Nothing against Cheez-Its, I grew up on them, it just came to mind. So nothing against them. Anyway, so you have to have why. And the why helps too, because, and I recommend you write it down, because there's gonna be moments where you don't wanna do the change anymore, because change is hard and our brains naturally resist change. So there's gonna be moments where you're like, I don't wanna spend 10 minutes walking, I wanna spend an hour watching Netflix, right? And you're gonna resist it. But having that reason, your why, is you can go back to that and be like, oh, right, okay, so I have this goal for this summer. I want to get into a bathing suit and feel good on the beach. Maybe that's your goal. So looking back at that and then telling yourself, okay, I have a real reason for this, and maybe it is because of your kids. I want to set a good example for them. And let that help drive your motivation and help drive your willpower. Because we all lack motivation sometimes, and we all lack willpower sometimes. And I definitely have been there and felt I thought I just didn't have willpower for the longest time. I thought that I just couldn't trust myself around food. I couldn't trust myself to walk through the bakery at the grocery store. I didn't have willpower. The reason that I wasn't able to do that is because it's not because I didn't have willpower. It's because I didn't have a reason. I didn't look at the reason why I was doing it, and I didn't have a good reason not to do it, because I never sat down and really thought that through. But so sit down, think that through. Number 4 is take the time, and all of this does take a little bit of time, but if you have time to scroll on social media, then you've got time to set some goals. That's for sure. It doesn't take that long. So take the time to organize, plan meals, snacks, exercise, especially when it comes to your fitness and nutrition. Take the time, plan it out. I have a great worksheet that I give out for free, and we use it in my programs, that actually makes you write down, as if it was a meal plan almost, ideas, simply just ideas for each meal and how you can add protein and how you can add fruits and vegetables. So if that's helpful, I can send that to you. Or just write it yourself, write it out, type it out, put it in your phone, whatever works. But plan it out so that you've got something that you've already thought through, because decision fatigue is a real thing. And at the end of a long work day, the last thing you want to do is try to figure out how to get a vegetable in. You just want to come home. It's helpful to have already thought about what you're going to eat, and then you can just sit down and relax, right? And same thing with exercise. If you don't plan it and schedule the time for it ahead of time, then again, long day, last thing you're going to want to do is maybe go to the gym or go on a walk, right? You're going to want to sit down and relax and scroll and watch Netflix, because that's what we all want to do, because we lead busy lives and we're tired. But So planning, if you have that appointment with yourself in your calendar, and sometimes it helps to take a class at the gym because then you have that appointment. That's why my job my job as a personal trainer works really well, because having that appointment allows my clients to know that they're going to get a workout in at that time, right? It's a schedule, it's an appointment, just like you would a meeting or a doctor's appointment. So schedule that out. And that because you'll have moments where you're low on motivation, you're low on willpower, and this happens a lot because clients come in at their appointment and they say, I didn't want to come, but I had to. And I say, that's exactly why we do this, is because you got that appointment and you're gonna come, you're gonna do it, even though there are days you don't feel like it. So plan and organize. Number 5, take your time frame expectation and double it. Okay, this one's big, and this one I got from just working with clients for the last 15 years is everything takes longer than we think it's going to. It does. We want to say you want to lose weight. Say, for example, you want to lose weight, 10, 20 pounds, whatever, and you think, okay, well, maybe I can do that. It's January now. Maybe I can do that by, in 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, well, maybe you can. However, 6 to 8 weeks, from my experience, there's a lot of things that come up. Life isn't linear. We don't just go down a straight road. It's full of bumps and it's full of hills, right? And there's gonna be days that things just don't line up the way you think they will. And there's gonna be days where you don't feel good, and there's sickness, and there's meetings, and there's work, and there's kids, and there's dogs, and all kinds of interruptions. And those aren't going to hurt you. Those won't hinder you. What we need to do is just ride the wave through them so that we can get to the goal. But what I'm saying is, if we think it's going to happen in 6 to 8 weeks, I would double that expectation and give yourself, 12 to 16 weeks to make that happen, because that's realistic, because that's how life is. So I hate to burst bubbles, but that is the truth. And then lastly, be accountable. If that helps you, be accountable. A lot of us do well when we've got someone helping, when we've got someone checking in, when we've got an appointment, or, when I finally figured out what was going on with my anxiety and emotional eating, I met with a coach for a while. It was over a year. And it was that check-in, and because I had to report in, it kept me focused on that goal. Now, some people are super self-motivated, and that's fine too. So if that doesn't work for you and you're self-motivated, that's great. A lot of people are. But if it helps to have an accountability partner, whether it's your partner or just another partner, or a coach or a trainer, whatever it is, be accountable so that your feet are held to the fire and that you have to actually accomplish it. So those are my quick tips for actually achieving goals, being realistic with achieving goals, and hopefully not making the mistakes that I made early on, and really achieving what you want to achieve, because it is possible. And if you learn anything from me, it's don't wait. Go ahead, dig in, analyze it, dig deep, figure it out, go through it, and get it done, because the rest is beautiful. And really, getting to a great momentum with exercise, getting into a rhythm with what you're eating, feeling good in your clothes, that's the highway we want to drive on. It feels so good. And I didn't include much cannabis talk in this episode because it doesn't really pertain to goals. But I would say if cannabis is one of your goals, then go through these exact things when it comes to cannabis. So if you want to use it, say you want to use it, start with why, right? Why? What's your why? Why do you want to use it? What do you hope to accomplish from that? Be specific. What's the next step for that? Do you talk to me? Do you talk to me about it? Do you go to the dispensary about it? So you can incorporate it. in your goal setting. So anyway, I'm going to keep this short, and that is it. But if you have questions, please send me questions, and I'd love to talk about it and talk to you about any of these things: fitness, nutrition, cannabis. You can email me. It's SkinnerEL. It's SKINNEREL at Gmail. My website is cannafitnessnutrition, all one word, .com. And I'm on social media. It's Beth_fit_personal_trainer. Love the underscores. And I'm on Facebook. You can find me, Beth Skinner Jasinski. And I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you soon.